A little girl dies on a swing set. A boy drowns in a pool. The carnival closes, but decades later, people report seeing that same little girl, still swinging, still playing, still trapped. This isn't a horror movie. This is Lake Shawnee Amusement Park, and the reason it's haunted, they built it on top of a Native American burial ground where children were already buried, hundreds of them. What happens when you build a place of joy on a foundation of sorrow? When happy screams from a roller coaster mix with the silent screams of the dead buried underneath? Most amusement parks are monuments to fun, but Lake Shawnee, it was doomed from the start. Its cheerful paint was hiding a blood-soaked secret that went back over 200 years. And before we dive in, hit that subscribe button because this story gets dark. Mercer County, West Virginia, coal country. Miners are working brutal hours underground, breathing in coal dust, barely scraping by. They need an escape, somewhere their families can forget about the grime and danger, even if just for a day. Enter Conlai T. Snitto, a businessman with a vision. He finds this beautiful piece of land near a lake, rolling hills, perfect for a family getaway, and decides to build an amusement park. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park opens with everything you'd want: a towering Ferris wheel, a dance hall, circular swings that send kids flying through the air, a swimming pool, cabins for overnight stays. It's an instant hit. For coal miners and their families, this place is paradise. The sound of laughter fills the air. Carnival music plays. Kids are having the time of their lives. There's just one problem. Conlai Snitto apparently had no idea what was buried underneath all that fun. Decades later, in the early 1990s, archaeologists from Marshall University would make a disturbing discovery. They excavated the land and found 13 skeletons, most of them children. This wasn't just random ground. This was an ancient Native American burial site. Now, local legends say thousands could be buried there, but we know for sure about those 13. This was sacred ground, a place meant for eternal rest. But the land's dark history goes even deeper. We need to go back to 1783. A European family, the Clays, settles on this exact land. Mitchell Clay, the father, is out hunting one day when tragedy strikes. A band of Shawnee Indians attacks the homestead. 2 of his children are brutally killed right there on the property. His third son, Ezekiel, is captured, dragged to Ohio, and later burned at the stake. Mitchell Clay, destroyed by grief and rage, leads a revenge party. More violence, more bloodshed, more bodies added to soil that was already sacred burial ground. So let me paint the picture. You've got ancient burial grounds. You've got a massacre site. You've got children's graves. And on top of all that death and trauma, Conlai Snitto decides to build a carnival. Locals warned him. They said the land was cursed, that it should never be disturbed, but those warnings went unheeded, and the dead, they didn't forget. For a while, everything's fine. The park is booming. Families are coming from all over. The swimming pool is packed, the concession stands are busy, the rides are full. Lake Shawnee is the place to be. But the land, it didn't forget what was buried underneath. And soon, the park's happy atmosphere starts to curdle into something else, something terrible. The first tragedy hits at the swimming pool. A young boy drowns. Now, drownings at public pools aren't unheard of, right? Tragic, but it happens. But then, the swings. Those iconic rotating swings become the site of the park's most haunting death. A little girl is playing, swinging through the air, having the time of her life. A delivery truck backs up onto the property. The driver doesn't see the swing in his path. She collides with the truck and is killed instantly. Accounts vary. Some say this happened in the 1950s, others say 1966. But the result is the same. A child dead at a carnival built on a graveyard. 2 children, 2 more young souls added to the land's already horrific body count. And suddenly, the laughter at Lake Shawnee starts sounding. hollow, wrong, like it doesn't belong there. People start talking. Is this place cursed? Did they anger something by building here? The accidents feel like more than just bad luck. They feel like punishment. After a failed health inspection, Lake Shawnee can't stay open anymore. The music stops. The gates lock. The carnival is left to rot. The vibrant colors of the rides peel and fade. Vines twist around the metal skeleton of the Ferris wheel. The swings rust in place, froze in mid-flight. The park becomes a ghost of itself. But here's the thing, according to everyone who's been there, the park was never truly empty. The most famous ghost is the little girl who died on the swings. Visitors and paranormal investigators describe seeing her wearing a white, frilly dress, still playing on the ride where her life ended. That swing set, rusted, hasn't moved in decades, is constantly reported swaying on its own. People now leave dolls and toys on the seats as offerings, gifts for a spirit that never got to grow up. The boy who drowned. His presence is felt near the old ticket booth. People report seeing a pinwheel spinning wildly on its own with no wind, no explanation. It's believed to be his way of reaching out. And then there's the laughter. Disembodied children's laughter echoing through the abandoned park. A chilling reminder that Lake Shawnee was always both a playground and a graveyard. These stories are a haunting mix of documented history and local legend. And honestly, the fact that parts of this are confirmed makes it so much worse. Have you ever been somewhere that just felt wrong, where the past felt too present? Drop your story in the comments. And if you're into these deep dives into haunted history, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss what we're covering next. The park sits dormant for almost 20 years until 1985, when a former employee named Gaylord White buys the land. He wants to bring the old carnival back to life, maybe recapture that 1920s magic. It reopens in 1987, but closes for good just 1 year later in 1988. The official reason? Insurance costs were through the roof. But you've got to wonder if the insurance companies knew something about this place. Then in the early 1990s, while clearing land, work crews stumble upon something that changes everything: Native American artifacts and human bones. This prompts the official Marshall University excavation that confirms what locals had been saying all along. This land is a massive burial ground. The legend becomes fact. The curse becomes history. Since then, Lake Shawnee has become a magnet for paranormal investigators. Teams with EVP recorders, thermal cameras, EMF detectors, all the ghost hunting gear, descend on this place, looking for proof. And they get it. EVP sessions allegedly capture whispered voices and faint chanting. Videos show the swings moving with no explanation. Photos reveal strange orbs and shadowy figures darting between the rusted rides. One of the most famous investigations was for the TV show Scariest Places on Earth. They brought a psychic who was supposedly so overwhelmed by the spiritual energy that she refused to stay after dark. The film crew reported feeling constantly watched and wouldn't go into certain areas alone. Today, Lake Shawnee Amusement Park is a skeletal ruin. The towering Ferris wheel stands like a silent, ivy-covered sentinel watching over ground that should have been left alone. The empty swings serve as a heartbreaking memorial to childhoods cut short. It's a place where history, folklore, and tragedy are tangled so tightly you can't separate them anymore. These stories aren't just ghost tales, they're part of the local identity now. A permanent scar on the community, something everyone knows about but doesn't quite know how to process. So what's the truth? Let's look at what we know for sure. Ancient Native American burial ground, confirmed. 1783 massacre of the Clay Children, documented history. 2 children died at the carnival, confirmed. Park closed twice, abandoned permanently, fact. Archaeological excavation found human remains, confirmed. Were the deaths just horrible accidents? Wrong place, wrong time, tragic coincidences? Or was something ancient and angry lashing out at people who dared to build a playground over sacred ground? Are the moving swings and disembodied laughter just tricks of wind and imagination? Or are they genuine echoes of restless spirits forever tied to a carnival built on their graves? I think the scariest part isn't the ghost stories, it's the reality underneath them. This land has absorbed so much tragedy over hundreds of years. Native American burial ground, massacre site, dead children from the 1700s, dead children from the 1900s, layer upon layer of sorrow soaked into the same piece of earth. Maybe the ghosts are real, maybe they're not, but the grief, that's undeniably real. It's documented, it's carved into the history of this place. Today, the park offers daytime tour for those brave enough to walk through. Some visitors report nothing unusual. Others leave convinced they've encountered something they can't explain. Lake Shawnee stands as a reminder that some ground is sacred for a reason. Some places should remain at rest. And when you disturb that rest, well, you might just wake up something that's been waiting. So what do you think? Curse or coincidence? Spirits or psychology? Let me know in the comments what you believe. And if you want more stories about places where history refuses to stay buried, check out these videos next. Thanks for watching. Sleep well if you can.